All right, here's today's deadlift workout. I'm doing 2 sets of 5 repetitions, deadlift off of blocks, 3.5 inch blocks, and then doing a total of 10 reps with varying types at 1 inch deficit. So here is my first repetition of my 3.5 inch block pulls, 425 pounds. Now, because I am going beltless, I decided to be a little bit more cautious and not overtax my lower back. I never have lower back problems, but I like to be cautious. So here I am putting up a 445, and what I'm doing is I'm doing a repetition every 90 seconds. That's why it's called EMOM, or every minute on the minute, or in this case, every minute on the 90 seconds, or a minute and a half. And kind of what I'm doing here is I'm essentially learning, or I'm building up my lockout strength. And if there's anything you notice in some of my deadlift videos, or maybe my first powerlifting meet with the 545 PR that I pulled in competition, is that my lockout is my weakest part. I have a big advantage in my lats and my back and accelerating it off the ground, which is kind of how I get away with lockout. So if I pull 405 or anything below 450, I can freaking pull that thing out off the ground pretty quickly. But once I get above in the high 400s, above 500, it's when my lockout begins to struggle. So kind of what I'm doing is I'm just building on my weaknesses, or I'm building up what's weak in my body. And if you kind of think about it, you look at it like this. The block pull is very similar to the way I do sumo. Well, similar in the fact that the muscles being used, I'm having to use more of my hips. Now, before I was doing sumo deadlifts, and I've stopped doing them simply because I'm frustrated with them. I will probably go back to them maybe next week, or maybe later this week. It just sort of depends. I just hate feeling defeated after workouts, not accomplishing shit. So here's 465 block pull, and every time I pull the bar, I just feel so slow. And a big part of the reason is that's my slow point. So I'm basically putting enough weight on there to a point where I don't lose too much bar speed. So I'm trying to push myself, but at the same time, I'm making sure I'm trying to maintain good quality repetitions. And the idea of doing every 90 seconds is it allows me to practice setting up, and it allows me to build more and more volume, or get a lot of reps in, without tearing up my hands too much. And I have to say that one of the things I hate the most about deadlifting is just how much it tears up my hands. Or I should say high volume deadlifting. I mean, if I have to pull it in meet or just do a bunch of singles, no problem. But with this kind of higher volume lifting, it just eats at my hands. So here's the beginning of my second set of block pulls, and because I did 425, and I keep it at 425 because the bar just continues to move slower and slower as I fatigue. And I think I put more weight on there now. I put back to 445. I think this is my fourth, maybe third repetition of my second set. And that thing just moves so slow. Trying to build it up. I really need to work harder activating my glutes, especially when I'm looking at this video. It doesn't look like I'm pushing through hard enough. Here's 445. I just missed a that's what she said joke. Anyways, here is 445. You can blame that comment from Brandon Campbell Fitness, watching too many of his videos. Okay, so here 445 again. It just freaking feels like it gets stuck. It almost looks like it goes back down. Anyways, just trying to build this weakness up. And if you want to get better at something, you build your weaknesses. So here's 405. This is my deficit pulls at 1 inch deficit. Standing on some blocks, same style, every 90 seconds for about 10 reps total. And I was going to go up in weight, but the weight felt slow. So I decided to just keep it where it is. I like working on deficits. I just don't like pulling from the ground, because once I get to pull off the ground, it's going to feel light. It always does when I pull from the ground. So I kind of want to make things a little bit harder for myself. Here's a touch and go set. And essentially I was trying to accumulate about 10 reps. I'm not even sure if I did. But there was a point where I felt like, okay, I did enough work for the day. I'm done. And again, a big part of what I'm doing also to consider is that I'm also going to be doing this workout again later in the week. So I cut back on my volume and lowered my intensity a little bit, simply because I knew I was going to do this similar workout again. And the reason why I was going to do it again was because I want to work on building my frequency. I want to get this 600-pound deadlift by the end of the year. Here, this is kind of a technique I saw. You see how I wound it up in my lats and my grip. It's kind of a way to get more tightness in the hands and the stomach. And I think that was pretty much, I got one more set here. And that's my workout. So anyways, I hope you learned something, get a different idea of kind of how I build programs for myself and how I build my strength. One of the key things is you're beating the crap out of yourself, beating the living shit out of yourself so that you can get stronger the following week or each and every single week, so that way you can keep building upon yourself. I decided to change up my programming because I felt like I wasn't getting strong enough or I wasn't making progress, so had to make a tweak. Anyways, thanks for watching. Click like if you haven't clicked like already. If you're not a subscriber, click subscribe. And thanks for watching.